Hey guys, how's it going? So, originally today I wanted to do a Arknight's IS2 stream, but that was because I thought we'd completely finish the Lantern Rite. I went on the next day after our last stream, and immediately saw that it loaded up an epilogue, so I thought we'd at least do that, and then I just went ahead and saved all of the... I think I did the first two parts for all of these events. So I went in and saved the rest of this just so we could do a little bit more on stream today. It'll still probably be a pretty short stream. I will probably go ahead and stream Arknights tomorrow though. I'm still looking for other stuff to stream. I was playing the Backrooms actually with some friends recently, and I mean, that game is terrifying. I don't usually get scared at like horror games, but just jump scares get me, and some of those were just, whew, they were rough. So maybe I'll find something like that to do with some friends as well. But either way, I also saw that there's potentially a Genius Invocation TCG event, I think, coming in, I think later today. I'm not 100% certain what the conversion is on my time to the server time, because I know like the new patch for me drops at like 8 or 9 p.m. usually. But either way, I figured we'd just hop into this, see what the epilogue is. I think it has to do, yeah, I was gonna say with 2000 dinner. I completely forgotten about it, but she did mention that if Zhongli couldn't visit her and Jin Yan's performance, then he had to go to her dinner, because she is his boss, I suppose, which I still think is pretty funny. I mean, just the thought that, honestly, even though she's absurdly strong lore-wise, one of the weakest characters, I think, lore-wise, she's not even a combatant in any way, I think, is actually, I mean, she's the boss of one of the Archons. Kind of wild stuff. I think the event was pretty well received overall, though. I really enjoyed it. I thought the theme of music was really, really cool, and it kind of showed off some different characters that I felt like we didn't see as much in the previous Lantern Rites. I did see that a lot of people were a little bit critical over the Hu Tao rap scene. I think that's just one of those things, though, that's a little bit inevitable. You see this with music a lot. I know growing up and doing, like, my semester with a classical music program, learning songs, for example, in, like, Italian, if you look at the actual just full-on English translation, a lot of the time it wouldn't make sense to sing just because music especially is so heavily reliant on, like, syllables, and then rapping especially. Things like rhyming and all of those things, the cadence of your tone and everything like that, it really does affect how well it works. Because I did go listen to the CN version of the rap, which I think is what it was originally written for, and it sounded really, really good. So, I think that's just one of those things that you can't be too critical of. I think obviously the voice actors and actresses always do their best. Just something that's a little bit inevitable when translating to a different language. But I'm interested to see who all shows up to the dinner. I haven't seen anything on it. I've had like thumbnails pop up on my YouTube recommended for some of this stuff, but I usually avoid that stuff unless I've already seen it in-game. Can't always avoid it, though. It's how I found out that Dottore was the second ranking Harbinger. Which, interestingly enough, so, I mean, I know some people don't like leaks, but I just find it interesting. Some of them aren't always right, but I've heard, so I know it's been speculated for a while that Baiju's going to be coming in the next patch or two. But I've also heard that maybe they are making Dottore playable, which is just interesting because I don't know, I didn't think he, like, I just can't imagine what his playable kit would be in terms of, like, vision / element and weapon and everything. And Dottore is one of the only Harbingers I actually specifically hoped wasn't playable. Because, like, I don't think it's bad to necessarily have playable villains, per se. I think they maybe do that in Honkai, if I'm remembering correctly. But I can't see a reason why, I mean, aside from the fact that we'll probably be allied with the Tsaritsa at some point, why we would ever ally ourselves with Dottore just doesn't seem like it'd make a whole lot of sense, given what he's done and the fact that Kale's playable. But you never know. There is the argument, though, that, again, if we side with the Tsaritsa, it's possible. And it's interesting, too, because, sorry, I know I'm getting a bit off track from the actual Lantern Rite, but I've heard that people are just starting to rumor, and this is just a rumor, I don't even think it was like a leak per se, but people have been saying for a long time that the Pyro Archon's based on Himeko. People are saying now that maybe there's like a dual Archon thing going on with the Hydro Archon, like a former and present one. That could be based on Durandal and Sela. I can't pronounce her name, Cell, I think. And then that leaves the only really major character left, I think, from Honkai that isn't really represented, assuming again that, I know people always talk about Fuhua and Shenhe, that thing, but if we take that potentially there, then maybe Bronya would be the Cry Archon. I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if that's the way they'll go. I don't even know if the other Archons that's actually what they're doing, but we'll see.
Oh, so that's how it is.
Okay, so
Thanks for the
Zhongli,
suggestions,
Xingqiu,
Mr.
Zhongyun.
Zhongli.
These three make
I
sense to
have
be
them
there.
all noted down.
I've long heard that your knowledge encompasses all things old and new, Mr. Zhongli.
Okay.
But I never knew that you were well versed in the art of cooking, too. It is truly an honor to make your acquaintance.
Just remember Cloud Retainer complaining
need for
about
formalities.
Zhongli's square cups.
I too feel humbled to be in the company of such talented young people. There are many things I could learn from you.
Oh, you flatter us.
There's a lot of
If
empty
it's
spots at this
possible,
table. Wonder who
may
else she
I
invited.
trouble you to provide a few words of guidance for my practices in exorcism?
Exorcism? I can't say I'm an expert in the field, but if you don't mind, we could start by
It's like a bunch
discussing-
of like teenagers, young adults getting advice from their grandpa.
There's so many people here. Oh,
There's so
Ian
many
was
people
that
there.
who
There's
invited
only
Xiangli
4.
over. I never thought we'd be meeting
There's
so
only
many
4 and Hu
friends.
Tao isn't even here.
Happy Lantern Rite, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Likewise. Please take a seat.
I have always been a little bit
Lantern
curious
Rite.
about how like
you
wealthy
having
Hu
fun?
Tao's meant to be. Because she's always out there advertising the funeral parlor. And sad as it is to say, especially in a world like Genshin, with like Haley Churls and the Fatui and everything running about, there's probably business, but I just wonder, because I thought Jinue Kiosk was like a pretty expensive place to go.
Me too. I've seen Xinyan perform before, but this is the first time I've watched something like this. I heard that the audience loved it too.
Oh, that's
and
good.
she's been receiving quite a lot of performance invitations lately. She's more busy than ever, and Yoonjin's gonna help her.
Yep, and they asked us to pass on their season's greetings to everyone. They hope we'll have a wonderful gathering.
Okay, so they're not
The
coming.
performance was spectacular indeed. However, it gave Xiangling a huge burst of inspiration, which in turn gave us a
Oh,
bit of
no.
a headache.
Us? Did Xiangling ask you to try out her dishes too?
That, my friend, is beside the point. Watching you eat was enough
Jeez.
for me. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't have burdened Chongyun with eating my share
Oh my
too.
gosh. I will say, seeing this kind of relationship between Chongyun and Xingqiu, I think people are still a little bit disappointed at the fact that I don't think Yelan and Shenna, I mean, you would assume they've probably crossed paths at some point, but given how much the community really likes those two, and like imagines that they're friends, I think it's a really wholesome dynamic that you see in fan art. You don't actually see, like, I don't think we've ever seen them actually have a conversation in game, and I think Lantern Rite was an option, but who knows?
See? Someone here knows how to encourage people.
I will say also,
Thanks,
now that we know
Paimon.
there's a human form for, like,
Oh,
Cloud Retainer,
and
which
I have to thank
I think
Mr.
everyone
Zhongli,
assumed, we just
too.
hadn't
He gave me
seen
lots
it.
of useful pointers that really drove it home for
Maybe
me.
we'll see that.
Oh,
And then I'm
so
curious
that's
too,
what you were talking about before we arrived.
because ever since, and the reason why I'd always hesitated thinking that Shenhe, for like a year now I think, that Shenhe might be meant to represent Fuhua, was because we had seen a picture, and now we know is young Madame Ping. But way back when in the Stove God event, we saw that, and I really thought that that was going to be like the, because she looks, that picture to me looked a lot like young Madame Ping looks a lot like Fuhua, at least visually. But if she's an Adeptus, it's possible that she's just choosing to take on the appearance she is now. I don't know if that's the case. There's so much that I don't personally know. I'm sure people more versed in the lore are probably a little bit more familiar with. But it just makes you wonder, could we get young or even current Madame Ping as a playable character? Could we get Cloud Retainer now? Because I just never gotten the impression, even since like we first stepped foot in Liyue, that like, what is it? I think it's Moon Carver, Mountain Shaper, and Cloud Retainer were going to be playable characters. Just because I don't think we'll get a non-humanoid character. But you never know. I think that'd be exciting, and it's another reason why like we could get new characters for these regions. Like we got Yao Yao recently, and potentially Baiju that'll bring us back to other regions. Eventually we'll go back to Mondstadt, probably with Varka. I know Mika's coming out in a little bit. Gonna be
Yes.
interesting stuff.
Since we'll be dining together, the topic of our conversation naturally revolved around.
I will say, I think the highest potential for
Xiangling's
characters is
ideas are truly
potentially
unconventional.
still
Her choices in
Inazuma,
both
because we know there's not
ingredients
that
and
many Adepti.
spices are comparable
left
to
in
a
Lila.
melody dancing on the tongue.
I don't think, at least. And
My
then
suggestions were nothing
I feel like in
more than
Mondstadt the
icing on
highest
cake.
potential is really just
Oh,
members of the
you-
Church of
you
Favonius or the
always
Knights of
deliver.
Favonius. And we probably met most of
Now
the
I'm getting
major members.
embarrassed. Anyway,
Depending
I
on
want
who
everyone
Varka
to
took,
have
I
a
guess,
taste
actually.
After I've adjusted the recipe based on Mr. Zhongli's advice.
That sounds like it might become a little safer to eat.
I have to wonder
How
what she
about
did.
I sample the dishes next time?
Speaking of eating, Paimon feels like we're missing someone.
Yeah, I don't know, like the
Hulka was the
host?
one who invited us,
Yeah.
but she's not here. And where's Guoba?
Hmm.
Oh, Guoba volunteered to help Dad at the
Okay.
restaurant. You know, lots of people come over.
I was
to
also
eat during
very
Lantern
confused
Rite.
for a little bit about
Without
where,
Guoba
like, I'm
helping
still a little
out,
bit
I
hazy on the
probably
details of
wouldn't
what
have had
Yayo
the
actually
time to
does.
accept Hu Tao's invitation. As for
Because I thought she was like
Hu
Ministry of
Tao,
Civil Affairs at one point,
The
but
director went to collect a guest.
I'd have to look it up.
She asked me to stay here and host
I'm
you
sure it
for
was
the time
mentioned, I
being.
just wasn't paying
Seems
attention
like
because
it's
I'm dumb.
almost time.
Huh? Hu Tao went to fetch someone in person? Oh, that
Oh,
must
okay.
mean they are
Well, we know
so
it's
very
not
important.
Xinyan, and we
Could it
know that
be
it's not,
Kuching? Ningguang? Or
like Yunjin.
Captain Beto?
She didn't clarify.
Hmm.
And as her subordinate, I couldn't just pry into the details, could I?
I think she does, based on her voice lines. Oh my gosh. I think she does suspect that he's at least an Adepti, but
We're here.
jeez. Imagine just being the boss of the
We're
Geo
not late to the
Archon.
party, right? Right? Good thing the conqueror
Oh,
of
Zhao.
demons and I are both
Okay.
as swift as the wind. And whoosh,
Huh.
we made it just in time.
I suppose it's not that crazy though when you consider the Traveler's link to just about everyone everywhere.
Oh,
So people in the same region knowing each
I
other
see.
shouldn't be that crazy.
so the important guest is the conqueror of
Oh.
demons. I've been looking forward
And now we get to
meeting
have
him.
Zhongli pretending that he
The
doesn't know
director didn't
Zhao.
mention anything when she invited us.
Hmm.
What a pleasant surprise. Gathered here with us tonight are not only young and accomplished individuals, but also the protector of Leo's peace, Adeptus Alatus. To convene here with all of you is indeed a great honor.
That's pretty funny. I mean, surely, like, Zhao and Ganyu were aware. Well, I know Ganyu was aware that he works at the funeral parlor, but surely Zhao was as well.
It's almost Lantern Rite.
Hmm.
Yet you took all the trouble coming here.
The director has a way of making it difficult to decline.
Yeah.
Rex Lapis, may I ask what troubles you?
The director asked me to buy sesame oil in preparation for
Oh,
the
okay.
celebrations.
Then why would you come all the way to Wangshu Inn?
Is he
I
gonna make
had a
Zhao buy
pleasant
it?
chat with Chef Yin
Oh, okay, I was gonna
received
say.
some spices from him. And
Be very
see,
characteristic of Zhongli. The
here's
director
some
asked me to purchase
matsutake
this,
and a portion
so
of
I'm just
ham.
gonna come over and offload
What
the
about
duty
the
onto you.
It's a shame. I couldn't find the kind
Oh, is
the
that
director
actually what
was
he's
looking
doing?
for.
Jeez. Oh, a loading screen.
I'm sure you're exaggerating, Zhang... Sir.
There he goes again. Enough with the pleasantries. Go let our guests take a seat. Everyone here today is well known in their own field and has probably heard about one another to some extent. Some of us are even old acquaintances, so there's no need to be this formal. I heard that the Conqueror of Demons and the Traveler are pretty close, no?
Yeah, we know each other pretty well. He almost died in the chasm. You know, not a big deal, I suppose.
Great. You
Jeez.
two sit together.
You should take a seat too, director.
I do like Zhao. Zhao's just one character that I don't think I'd
Finally
play very
remembered
much.
me. When we arrived just now, the host at Shinyue Kiosk told me our dishes are almost ready. Perfect timing. Let's not wait any longer and ask them to bring out the food.
I am really excited for Dea, though. Her kit looks like it's going to be really fun.
Paimon would have never guessed the person who Tao went to fetch was Xiao.
Oh, that's also the first I've heard of the Traveler and Paimon being friends with the Conqueror of Demons.
You know Xiao Chu?
He's an exorcist, I'd
Knowing
imagine he
is a
does.
Bit of an overstatement.
Oh, okay.
I've
There you
always
go.
looked up to him.
I'm a little
You might not know
surprised, I
this,
guess.
Paimon, but We
I know
had
Shenhe
consistence
didn't
of working
interact, I
close
think,
collaboration
too much
the
with Zhao,
Conqueror of
but
demons for many generations,
I'll say,
dispelling evil together.
given that he
both
has
in
his
the open
anti-Shenhe,
and from the shadows.
I would have thought he'd at least had a
Hard
chance to meet
imagine
him.
that thanks to Hu Tao, I've finally gotten the chance to meet him. Conqueror of demons, I'm honored to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
It is a great honor indeed to have a chance to meet the legendary Conqueror of Demons. Changyun has brought that name up quite a few times in the past.
Let's just embarrass
I
Changyun real
remember you
quick.
mentioning wanting him to understand the importance of exercise.
Oh, that to be fair, Zhao's able to handle pretty much everything by himself. Even if it's not the
each other too.
best way to do things.
He helped try my dishes during the Masterful Chef's cook-off. I didn't think we'd have the chance to meet again. Happy Lantern Rite.
It's crazy to
No
think though,
anecdote,
like,
however, compares
given
to
how
meeting
big
you in
Liyue
person.
is. I mean,
I'm
some of these
Sinjo,
people, I mean, we talked just
Xiangling
now
and
about,
Changyun's
like,
friend. The pleasure
living in the
is
same
all
region
mine.
is not crazy that they know each other. But Liyue, I think, landmass-wise, in the lore is like the biggest region. You could, someone like Zhao who doesn't come into the harbor, you could spend an entire lifetime without ever even seeing him.
This show, mighty Conqueror of Demons. Please accept Paimon's greetings too. Belated Happy Lantern Rite. Paimon tried very hard to look for a fancy word, okay? Don't be too harsh on Paimon.
There's no need to be so polite.
You're right. This was meant to be a nice little get-together between friends after all. Too much formality kills the atmosphere. I didn't plan this gathering only for everyone to
I
walk
do
on
think, as someone who's
eggshells.
basically like a
But yeah,
hermit and just
what's
stays in
your
his
true
room and plays
intention
games
then?
and watches like YouTube when he's not at work or like
A
running
little
errands or stuff,
get-together between
I think it'd be
friends,
nice to hang
sipping
out with
the
like Hu
finest
Tao,
tea
but I
and
think it would be
watching
exhausting.
lanterns float into the sky, bidding farewell to the past and embracing the present with joy. And that is something our consultant would say. I think it
Oh,
deserves
okay.
a standing ovation.
I wonder if they're gonna keep trying to like emphasize the fact, because I think it's mentioned in
Exceptional
voice lines that she
acting
likes
skills,
writing
Director.
like poetry and similar
As for
things.
me, I'm just here to
So-
have fun and treat everyone to something good.
I
Now,
really
it's
don't feel like we
hard
see
this
Hu Tao a
year.
whole lot though
Whether traveling or
in story or side
diving,
quests.
cooking, helping with the family business, exercising evil spirits, or conquering demons. And of course, our consultant, who's been helping out at the parlor every now and then. Everyone has done some pretty amazing things. As the one who brought everyone together, it goes without saying that I'm the one most deserving of praise.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds kind of self-important, but
Mm.
Paimon thinks it's pretty amazing that she managed to talk Xiao into coming.
Yeah, I do have to wonder.
Enters Liyue Harbor after all.
I mean, she is one of the few humans that, like, when she received her vision, kind of went over to the... And I guess we went as well during your story quest. But that barrier where those with lingering regrets don't move on. So,
It wasn't as
I can't remember what
complicated
it's
as
called.
you think.
not long ago at Wangshu Inn again.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, boss lady.
Oh, okay.
It's not boss lady, just boss. And there she goes. What a lively girl.
Conqueror of demons, Adeptus Xiao. Guardian of Wangshu Inn. Hero of Dihua Marsh.
I gotta say though, I haven't heard a whole lot from like
I know you're there.
other voice actors, but I do think that the Ian voice actor for Hu Tao does do a really good
Quiet.
job.
Do not disturb the peace.
Sorry.
Just kind of having
but
that like,
you wouldn't show up if
I guess
didn't yell your
sing-songy
name,
voice
would
quality.
You?
I know you. You're the 77th director of Wangshun Funeral Parlor. Is there something you need?
She just asked and you just said yes? I feel like Zhao is the type of person that the most people would just leave.
That does sound like one of Hu Tao's antics.
Did the Conqueror of Demons agree to come so that Hu Tao would stop pestering him?
There might be other reasons.
Smart guess. Huh? There's more to it? It gets pretty boring from here on. I talked about the funeral parlor's past relationships
Oh.
with the Guardian Yakshas.
So we just drug up like old
just to be
wounds
sociable.
just to be
In
sociable.
the time of the Archon War,
Oh, no.
disputes were frequent, and disaster overtook the land. Humans
I really
couldn't
do wonder
escape
though
from the torment of
if
the
Genshin will
plague,
ever allow us to play
nor
characters
could
that
they
have already
escape
passed
death.
on. Because I know people
The
really
adept
like the, I don't know if
vanquished
she's
the
like a
demons.
Hydro Yaksha, but like the blue
Millelith fought
Yaksha.
valiantly,
People really liked her
and
design.
Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was responsible for purifying the diseased and sending off the spirits of the dead. That is how the border between life and death was maintained during the war.
Okay. Probably
And
made
it
Zhao's job a
effectively
little bit
prevented
easier.
further incidents
Doing the whole
from
evil
happening.
spirit shtick we got going
That's
on.
right. 1 point for the consultant. But despite our deep-rooted connection, it still took me quite a while to actually convince him. You know him pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
This matter is out of my control, so I need to be cautious.
Well, maybe it was comforting
True.
to know that Zhongli
I've
would be
kept that
there.
in mind,
What could
too.
possibly happen?
That's why everyone here today is in one way or another acquainted with elemental power.
Oh, that
Besides,
too, yeah. Everyone
it'll
here has a
only be
vision
for
or
a short
elemental
while
powers.
as we dine together.
But
There
I say
won't be any
Zhongli's there, but
lasting
Zhongli also kind of,
consequences.
I don't know,
But I
sipped off
didn't
Manthus wine
Expect
when
there to be so
Osial was
many
maybe going to
people.
destroy the harbor.
There's no need to worry, Conqueror of Demons. We're not feeling anything unusual so far. Our young exorcist over here is protected by his pure yang energy, so he's probably the most resilient.
I thought he was super,
That's not
super
the same.
sensitive to, other changes though. Wasn't that the whole
Did you
shtick
just
in his
toss your carrots into my bowl?
hangout event? Did you just
Hey,
toss
don't
your...
look away.
Huh?
Hmm.
What?
I'm siding with Chongyun. I saw that too. You're lucky Guoba isn't here today. He hates seeing people being picky with their food. If he'd seen that, he'd definitely make you eat all your carrots.
Yeah, don't make the stove god angry.
Guoba would do that? Is he that uncompromising? But now that I think of it,
Yeah.
Xiangling told me that Guoba
Oh,
used
he
to
did
be
know
the
that.
stove god.
Wonder how many people she told.
It sounds like you've heard the rumors.
I guess it's not like a super important thing not to know. But...
I'm doing fine.
Oh, that's good.
Not long ago, before Lantern Rite, I met an old friend. Thanks to his help, things have been a lot more stable than before.
I mean, this is what I would say, but I...
Right.
Oh
Wait,
my
what?
gosh. Is that Venti? I mean, when I see this, I couldn't quite tell off the voice, but that's immediately what I think of. I was about to mention, too, I didn't think the last chair at the table was for Paimon. But, especially since Zhao sat next there, not Paimon. But that would be interesting. Was Venti here during the Lantern? That's the only person I can think of. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm trying to think of anyone else in Leah who even has an animo vision.
Seeds of
Yeah,
story
it's Venti.
brought
Interesting.
by the wind. And cultivated by time.
I mean, it makes sense that Zhao has met
complete that thing.
met with
That
Venti
voice.
before. And he does have an
Could
animo
be.
vision.
If I'm not
Jeez.
mistaken, there's someone knocking at the door. Don't just sit there, Zhongli. Go welcome our guest in. No such need. I'm coming
Jeez.
in.
Just casually order an Archon to do something. That's never gonna get old to me.
You finally let me in. Hello, hello. No matter if we've met before or not, this moment marks a brand new encounter. Old friends and new. Happy
Venti's voice
Lantern
actress does a
Rite.
really good job too.
Oh, it's the
Actually.
tone-deaf bard.
I don't know though. I don't really have any criticisms to be honest for any like. That's one thing I've never really gotten. I think for Genshin in particular, all the
It
voice,
looks like we're gonna be friends.
the VAs do a really good
Fate
job.
has brought us together, so come
Like I said,
on,
the
take
only
a
thing is
seat
like
and be my guest.
some things like music
Help
just
yourself.
don't always translate
I'll
well.
ask them for
That's
another
fine.
set of cutlery. This
But I was
young
actually
lady
really
here
shocked
is
this week
as
just
bright
scrolling to
as a
YouTube,
fresh
seeing some of
bouquet
that stuff. Like, that's
flowers
kind
in
of
the
mean.
morning's rising sun. She no doubt is the one with the most authority here.
He's just gonna throw some shade at
These
Zhongli.
dishes look amazing. Is it
Jeez.
really okay for me to join in? All right, I'm digging in.
Huh, it's you.
Oh, isn't this Genyu? Genyu?
Oh. Huh. I mean, I would think Hu Tao and Zhongyun would probably know Xingqiu's pen name.
Yep. Now that I've taken a closer look, you're a fan
Smooth,
of Genyu's
Venti.
works,
Good job.
aren't you? met Xingqiu at a light novel convention. Ah, how I wish we'd met sooner. I never expected that there'd be another person in this world who could interpret Genyu's new novel as thoroughly as I could.
Venti, you're being too humble. Considering your poetic talent, your fundamentals are way more impressive.
Could this new guest be Master Xingqiu?
I get that, like, like Zhongli and Venti and Zhao need to pretend not to know each other here, but just that smile, like, just the look.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Xiao, you remember me too, right? We had a chat not long ago.
Yes.
Some of the
yes.
expressions in Genshin, like, the travelers are always talked about, but some of
Monsters
these
become more
expressions are
active
just
than
so
usual as we
funny.
get closer to Lantern Rite. I was patrolling Dihua Marsh a few days ago when I happened to run into this.
This wandering Archon.
You've already forgotten?
Or Bard, yeah.
A bard, remember? And bards go around singing wherever they like.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
And this bard was performing in Dihua Marsh.
Why?
It was a moving melody,
Oh.
and it made me feel relaxed and at ease. I couldn't help but stay
That's
and
actually
listen.
really wholesome.
Thank you for your patronage.
I kind of get that, though. That kind of does make sense for someone who's constantly plagued by, like, what he is. That an Archon more like Venti, or even, like, I don't know, maybe if it meant Nahida, though that's in a bit of a different way, compared to, say, like, A, who probably wouldn't be that comforting, or Zhongli, who's just... I wouldn't say Zhongli isn't, like, comforting, but it's not necessarily in the same nature as, say, someone who could just play a nice music with actual power behind it.
I understand now too.
It's really cool.
I'm Zhongli, currently working at the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. It's a pleasure to meet you, new friend.
I do find it
And
kind
I'm
of
his
sad, though,
boss.
that,
Oh, and
it feels
if
like for
there's
being one of the
anything
oldest Archons...
unsatisfactory, let me know anytime.
Oh, jeez.
That's very considerate of you.
Don't like Venti as much. I know A doesn't like Venti.
No wonder. Only a
I'm trying to
boss
remember
as
if Nahida has a
savvy
voice
and
line on him.
reliable as you would be able to hire such an
Oh, he's laying it on
impressive
thick.
consultant. Oh, you're too nice, Venti. Not to brag, but our consultant truly is impressive. His knowledge extends across the stars and the land, and there's nothing
I really do
throughout
want to
history
look up,
he
though, that
doesn't
voice
know.
line. Because I'm
And
pretty
the
sure it's
sophisticated
implied
way
that
he
Hu Tao
speaks, it's hard not to suspect
potentially
that he could
suspects
very
that
well be
he's...
an adeptus in
Yeah.
disguise.
Okay, well, that makes it a little bit more blatant.
Xiao, you're an adeptus. Do you think it might be possible?
No, you think Zhao's gonna blow his cover even if he is?
Sorry. I'm only good at conquering demons. I'm afraid I don't have much knowledge in that matter.
I'm surprised she asked Zhao over, like, Ganyu, who's always in the harbor, too.
But Paimon thinks you're super knowledgeable.
Yeah, Paimon.
Huh?
Jeez.
Oh, right. Xiao's the
I can't
warrior.
bring myself to hate Paimon, though, as much as some people do. I just literally view it as having, like, a toddler who also happens to be a guide coming along with you, you know?
Really? I've actually heard a few things about Mr. Zhongli before. The guests in the tavern talked about this refined and courteous man who, instead of having wine at
Oh, he didn't
Mondstadt's
even-
finest tavern, ordered
You
a
didn't
cup
order
of
your
hot
osmanthus
tea
wine?
with the most complex name.
I mean, I'd be surprised
Now
if
that you
D-Luke actually didn't have the
I
ability
seem to
to...
recall that there indeed
serve
is
something
a
like that.
musician like yourself in Mondstadt. I've heard that he's elegant and amiable, his works witty and vibrant.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
no
At least he's being nice
overstatement
to him.
regard him as the best bard in Mondstadt.
It's kind of funny, though. I can't imagine A or Nahida being... Well, maybe Nahida. In a situation like this, being able to really cover like this. Pretend like they're completely new acquaintances.
That went, the old house is renewed, welcoming the spring breeze, awakening old memories. The meaning's there, but the word choices are unimaginative, and there's a distinct lack of literary flair. I think so too. The composition needs a little jazzing up. If I were to give it a go, I'd make it
I've heard Hu
an
Tao's...
old melon on a vine, a new flower that
Oh.
grows fine. Oh, good one. It feels
I've heard that she has like
unique
very
and has a
dark humor
nice
with her
ring to it.
poetry though.
You have
And that's like
great
another
taste,
thing that doesn't
Venti.
translate as
I
well.
was right about you. Let's shake hands.
Like the Hilichurl song,
Of course, of
I think is
course.
one that people have said it has a little bit darker undertones in other languages. Whereas it just comes across as a little bit like
Hey, Shinjo.
silly in English.
Mind lending me a few books when we get back?
Hmm.
Pick out some well-written ones. I don't know if it's my own lack of literary knowledge, but I couldn't tell the difference between those two.
I don't think it's your fault.
Yeah.
Chongyun's right. It's not our fault.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you have a point. But speaking of, why is the tone deaf bard here? Are you here to take part in Lantern
Yeah, I'm
Rite
actually
too?
genuinely wondering, isn't the Lantern Rite just about over?
We'll be hosting a Lantern Rite music
Oh.
festival this year. As a musician myself, how could
Is
I
that still going on,
possibly
though?
resist the temptation to
I
come
just
take a
assumed that
look?
like the whole quote-unquote
Or
music
listen.
festival was just the
Getting
performance
to know
we saw.
other musical styles is essential to sparking inspiration, don't you think?
That too, yeah. It kind of got planned out. What was it, like maybe 2 days worth of time in game beforehand?
As for the Fontaine friend who hosted the festival,
And doesn't
I
it take
saw
longer
him
than
near
that to
Stone
travel
Gate
from
the other
Mondstadt
day.
to Liyue?
The Iridescence tour has finally been held successfully for once, so I had to congratulate him.
That's nice too. Yeah, I was wondering, they're talking about how like they're getting more and more connections since this one was so successful. Maybe now that we go to Fontaine next, we'll actually get to see a full-on like pre-planned out Iridescence tour. That'd be really cool.
Don't think anything of it. By the way, I
Oh,
was watching as you entered Shinyue kiosk, but no one seemed to notice me.
one thing I want to say real quick that has been like really thrown me for a loop this week as well is people are talking about, like, if you see the pictures side by side, Sandrone, the Fatui Harbinger, I think she's still one of the ones that we're not 100% sure on. I think I've mentioned before the whole theory people have right now about Piero potentially being like not one of the Harbingers, which I still just don't think fits unless they're going to introduce another Harbinger that wasn't in A Winter Night's Lazo. I do just assume Piero is one. But along that line, we don't know the exact ranks of Arlecchino, Sandrone, or Capitano technically. I mean, if they are 4th, 7th, and 10th, I would assume it's probably Capitano 4th and Sandrone 7th, I want to say. But Sandrone actually looks very, very similar to Guizhong. I can't pronounce her name either. And people were talking about, like, well, they did what they did with, say, Scaramouche, from being a former, one of A's puppets to what he became and much more powerful. So it's not that, I think, out of the realm of possibilities. But who knows, it could just be a similar design. You never really know. But that would be quite the twist if it turned out that Sandrone was, I mean, as grim as that might sound, like a reanimated, almost like, body. That'd be pretty crazy. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for Genshin's world base.
Should I say that it's because I'm
And
an
they're also
expert
both, like,
in
experts in
hiding,
machinery.
or that a certain someone deliberately ignored the sound of the wind?
Jeez.
Whenever Lantern Rite comes around, Liyue Harbor becomes bustling with activity. People are all busy watching the lanterns and strolling around the shops, and they might just go travel somewhere on a whim. It is rather difficult to predict another's whereabouts. The festival is in full swing and proceeding smoothly, and we're all gathered here with friends, new and old. This is no doubt a wonderful occasion worth celebrating. To come together with all of you at the beginning of the year, one can't help but be filled with joy. In a moment like this,
I gotta say, I wonder if
propose we
Zhang Li's
raise
voice
a
actor
glass
does like
together.
ASMR or
In
something.
my
I don't
case,
watch that
tea
type of
in
thing
lieu of
usually,
wine.
but I feel like he'd be good at it.
Very well said, Mr. Zhongli. That was exactly what I wanted to say. Now I'm getting a little self-conscious. I didn't cause you too much trouble barging in like that, did I?
Jeez.
We usually drink wine during occasions like this over in Mondstadt, but since Mr. Zhongli insists on drinking tea, I'll give a toast with tea too. Everyone, thanks for the treat. You're welcome. As the host of this gathering, I hope everyone enjoys the food and drinks. May this year
I would
be
assume at this
better
point
than
the Lantern
last.
Rite is going to be a yearly event.
Considering that everyone may have other matters to attend to later,
So that'd be pretty cool.
sticking to tea seems like a good idea. All of a sudden, they started proposing toasts. Should we?
What's with the urgency?
Okay.
Sure.
Have you two finished eating? It's always nice to have a breath of fresh air after a meal. Helps with digestion. Paimon will come too.
That's okay, Paimon.
Yeah?
I do think Paimon is another reason why I just can't ever get too mad at Paimon personally, is I think she has really bad separation anxiety from the Traveler.
Okay then. Don't forget to come back.
Like, the few times they are separated, you kind of see that. And it just makes me really sad. Oh, do we get a cutscene?
Are you alright?
Oh.
It's hard to describe.
I think it's less that he's maybe completely unfamiliar with things like this, and maybe more that he probably hasn't... I mean, he's getting them more and more lately, even if they're in unconventional ways, like, say, when we all met up at the chasm. But he probably hasn't had one of those calming moments to sit down and, like, eat with friends like this too often since he lost the other Yaksha. You know? It's kind of similar to, like... I mean, I've seen, like, a before and after picture with, like, A and... Oh, what's her name? I can never remember her name. But, like, young Miko, A, her sister, the... What's her name? The white-haired Kitsune. Oh, I always remember names like that until I mean to talk about them. But then it's, like, a current picture with her and Zhongli and Venti and Nahida. It goes to show that, like, for people who have lived as long as the Adeptus or the Archons have, it's probably pretty bittersweet
It's not
when you come to
that.
moments like this.
There were those among the Adepti who loved gatherings.
But
and
maybe I'm
idle
just reading
chit-chat.
too much into it. That's very possible.
Sometimes they would call up a few others for a drink. Even I got dragged along to their gatherings many times. The Adepti all have their specialties, making most of them proud and arrogant. Everything they say is straight from the heart. It never gets too complicated.
Well, there's good and bad in communicating like that sometimes
This
too.
time,
Oh my god. I'm glad I chose to stream this epilogue event. This is pretty funny. I would not blame it on Zhongli in front of Zhao, though. That sounds like kind of a bad idea.
No. I didn't mean that. So you know his true identity. I'll get straight to the point then. The Animo Archon is a free spirit, and his temperament is as carefree as the music he plays on the flute. It's easy for a god like him to live in harmony
Well,
with
he
humans,
doesn't...
and
I wouldn't
that's
say
something I
shirk
might
his
never be able to
responsibilities,
do.
but Venti very much doesn't, like, try... Like, Zhao's still very burdened, even after all these centuries of his time, with his duties as the Conqueror of Demons, and his old karma, and everything like that. He still deals with that every day. Venti... When Venti really needs to step up and deal with things, as, like, the, I guess, technically former Anima Archon, he does still do it, but he definitely doesn't do it all the time. And you don't have to be like everyone else. That's something I think everyone, including myself, struggles with. Sometimes it's important just to find your own way.
That does sound like something you would say. No matter. I know my circumstances. Whenever I think of the ordinary conversations I've had with you, it feels strangely novel. Yes.
That's good. Like a
Parlor
brief respite
director
from
went out of her
everything.
way with the invitation, so it was difficult to turn her down. I had made mental preparations before agreeing to come. She told me that all the guests today would be acquainted with elemental power,
Oh,
and I
okay.
knew that you would be here.
Because if we weren't there,
And I didn't
she could have
expect
just
the
said they
other
all have
guests to
visions.
be-
Yeah. I don't think anyone would have guessed, though. I mean, to be fair, I think he probably could have guessed that Zhongli would be there, given that he works for Hu Tao, but... Yeah.
General Capices always said that we should live in the present and enjoy every pleasant surprise.
Who's General Capices?
Perhaps that's what I
Have
should
you heard
do
that name
with
before?
what I'm feeling now. But I think he meant designing clothes for those around him. The clothes were intricately designed, but inconvenient to wear. Brother Bosacius never tried to hide his distaste in front of him. Rex Lapis did like his designs and even collected quite a few.
The pieces, huh?
The outfit he wears now was also designed by
he has-
General
oh, okay.
Apices himself. I never saw him wear this during
okay, it was
the war.
the
I didn't expect him to start wearing
the
it
Geo.
later.
Oh, and they were Geo.
Oh,
Okay,
here
so
you
the
are.
Geo Yaksha.
I'm
From
not
way back when.
intruding, right?
You're fine, jungling.
You're not. What is it?
Hu Tao saw that everyone's done eating and asked the staff to bring out the desserts.
Oh, is Zhao a fan of desserts?
Paimon got so anxious that you weren't back yet that she scarfed on her dessert without the usual
Oh,
slurping
no.
and munching.
She'll be, she'll be okay, but that's what I was talking about, though. Like, it just, for me personally, it's so hard to be upset with Paimon on just general. Like, yeah, there's like the whole annoying thing that I think bothers people. She does remind me a lot of, like, I don't know, Navi's role, and there's all the theories that maybe she's the unknown god, but yeah.
And to be honest, I was kind of worried too. You looked a little restless just now, and I thought you weren't used to the food here and was planning to head back to Wangshu Inn for something Yan Xiao made.
He does get
You're
along with
worrying
Yang
too
Jiao, though,
much.
because he makes all the almond tofu.
Why would I? Anyway, let's head back.
Okay. I think it's good, though, that we see members like Shenhe and
There's
Zhao
another
kind of
reason why I came looking for you.
getting more integrated into everything. You don't always have to be, but
Take these.
making it a
I
little
brought
bit easier
you.
for them
Almond tofu?
is good.
Yup.
Oh.
Since the Masterful Chefs competition, you could say that Yan Xiao and I are not only competitors, but good friends as well. I visit him at Wangshu Inn sometimes to discuss our cooking. I heard him say that the esteemed guest on the roof loves nothing more than a good plate of almond tofu, so I learned a thing or two about the dish from him.
That's a nice gesture.
I'll be honest. Before Hu Tao invited everyone, she secretly came looking for me, told me about the guests she planned to invite, and asked me for some suggestions on what she should order. So I made a few servings of almond tofu for you guys in advance. Take them as a token of gratitude for your support. When I told Guoba that I was making these for you, he started eagerly running around the kitchen and helping a lot too.
Thank you for the trouble. There was no need to... I'll take them. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Guoba too.
You're welcome. Oh, the almond tofu I made probably tastes and feels a little different from the type Yan Xiao cooks. Please let me know if there's any improvements I should make.
Okay.
That's all. Alrighty, we should head back now. We can't keep Paimon waiting.
Interesting, though. I do wonder, though, is Jinyu Chaos, like, again, it goes to kind of putting it into scale. If it was, like, an actual world-based, not just in-game. I wonder how big of a restaurant it is.
How could you say that to Paimon?
Was the only option, Paimon.
In that case, besides having no sense of time, Paimon will let you know what having no sense of fullness looks like. Your dessert is all Paimon's.
Oh, now she's doing
Sorry
the
to
Eula
keep
look.
everyone waiting.
And speaking of Eula, I think she's getting a banner rerun. I think second half of next patch, 3.5.
Whether we're chatting outside
Because I
or
know-
inside, it's all the same.
I know, so second half of 3.4 here is going to be Hu Tao and Yelan. I thought about going for Aqua Simulacra, but I think I'm just going to go for Siwa and Yelan. Just because I use Yelan a lot, and I think that if you're going for C2, I was reading the constellations, I think Aqua Simulacra would really outperform. I have Elegy for the end. It would probably really outperform it at C2, where it makes her burst do a little bit more damage based on her HP. Whereas for right now, for C0, C1, I do think that it's just nice having the extra charge on E and a little bit of extra energy recharge. I will say, after that is Dea's banner, I don't know who she's running with. I think Eula's supposed to run either with her or the next patch. And I'm still thinking about getting Song of Broken Pines, because I don't have a 5-star Claymore. I don't have Wolf's Gravestone. And I think that'd be really nice. She's the only character of, like, the... well, I guess I don't have a weapon really for Zhongli either, but of like my main Spiral Abyss team, she's actually the only character that I don't have a super good weapon for. I have R5 Snow Team Starsilver. And I think even though I use my Raiden Eula team a lot more, it's part of the reason why my Hu Tao team is so much stronger, because I have C1 Hu Tao with Homa. So that team clears so much faster. So on the days, like the clears that I do have a little bit of hard time clearing 36 star, because that happens occasionally, usually. Like right now, I think I still need to do floor 12 this reset. I think it resets here in a couple days. So I should probably do that. But that might give that team a little bit of boost it needs. I also need to finish switching her over to Pale Flame set. I just can't find a... I have 2-piece Gladiators, I think, 2-piece Pale Flame, and I just can't get good enough artifacts to switch her over. It's actually really irritating.
Paimon's too busy eating
Anyway.
to talk to you. But even though we're all well acquainted by now, I think this festive gathering deserves something ceremonious.
Okay.
Oh? Is this some local custom? Nope. This is something I made up so that good luck will be on our side, that's all.
Okay.
Spontaneity is the best choice to make.
Spontaneity is definitely a good
Let's
word
use
to
this
describe Hu
incense burner
Tao.
on the table. It's been lit for so long now that the incense is running out. I'll leave refilling and lighting the incense to the most distinguished guest among us all.
Oh,
Lighting the incense will signify continuous growth and prosperity in all our endeavors in the new year. I see.
that's kind of cool.
Perfect symbolism, as expected of Hu Tao.
Something to call in the new year. Lots of people have like New Year's traditions.
Guest here today, I'm sure we all agree that it's Mr. Zhongli. I'm not very familiar with the details of his past deeds, but chatting with him has been a real eye-opener, even for a bard who has traveled all across the
Just the
world.
fact that Venti loves
knowledge
throwing
were a form of
Zhongli under
power,
the bus.
One could even say that you're a wielder of unlimited strength.
Yeah.
But when it comes to having a way with words, the notable bard is certainly one cut above the rest. I just happen to have a good memory. It is such an unexceptional skill, yet you made it sound like an unparalleled talent. I am truly impressed.
Like, just the way they
Since
talk to
we
each
all
other
get to
sounds like they're
nominate
very
someone.
good acquaintances, but just enough that they're sassy with each other all the time.
I think it's only fair that we let the parlor director
Oh,
light
okay.
the incense.
Huh? That won't do. Don't flatter me just because I'm your boss. We are looking for the most distinguished guest here. As the host, I shouldn't be involved in this discussion at all. Now that we've enjoyed this table full of delicacies, how about we let our one and only chef here do the honors?
I feel like this is probably going to end
This
up
is
being
really
either
the way
Zhao or
this
the
works.
Traveler, but
I didn't cook any
I could
of
be
these
wrong.
dishes. It's not a big deal. Just look at her. Xiangling, the disciple of an adeptus, the stove god's best companion, the winner of the masterful chef's competition. The only heir of the famous One Mean restaurant. A good old friend of mine. There's no better choice. Why does Paimon feel like we're back at square
I feel
one
like...
again?
I mean, I remember Zhongling has voice line about Hu Tao always scaring her, but...
Please stop! You're making me embarrassed. If we're looking
pretty
for a
funny.
distinguished guest, surely the second son of the Feyou
Oh.
Commerce Guild counts. It's one of the largest commerce guilds in Liyue Harbor.
And they just keep
Don't
clapping.
get me involved in this.
I like that they're at least being, like,
Oh,
wholesome
not
to
a
each
bad
other.
choice. With the Commerce Guild's young master lighting the incense, we're all sure to make a huge sum of mora in the new year.
That's not how it works. Making a fortune is indeed a fine wish, but it's of lesser importance than good health and happiness. Which means we should choose Chongyun, the skilled exorcist. who keeps
And of course,
everyone's
Xingqiu
home
would
safe from
immediately
evil
turn... He turns
spirits.
red. He would turn
Huh?
to Chongyun.
Now you're nominating me? I can't be the one when we have the Conqueror of Demons right here. Adeptus Xiao has the most seniority among everyone
Well,
here today.
That they
We
know
should-
of.
I refuse.
Oh.
I am most certainly not the most distinguished guest here.
I do think he's gonna say it's the Traveler, actually, but...
You should all be able to make the right judgment based on your observations.
Wait, don't do
One
it.
person here is well acquainted with everyone else.
Love how Jongyun waits for a second.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Though
Paimon!
you're always mocking Paimon, you're still pretty popular with other people.
Hmm?
No, wait. Paimon said she wouldn't talk to you again.
Oh.
Huh? Who else is there?
Yeah, let's let Paimon do it.
Huh? Does that mean Paimon's the most distinguished guest?
Yep, and this is how we get Paimon to talk to us again.
That was unexpected!
I agree.
Hmm.
Paimon's just the one we need. Without a friend constantly by your side, a long journey would become dreadfully lonesome. But once you have someone there to brighten up the atmosphere,
Yep, the
everything
number one
along
travel
the way will
companion.
become lively and vibrant too.
Ah. The traveler has traversed many nations and left behind a great deal of fascinating stories. But without Paimon,
You know, I was initially thinking it would be Zhao or
monotonous.
Lumin, but I think this is a really
Paimon
wholesome way
plays
to
an
take this.
indispensable role in making your journey a happy and smooth one.
You guys! Paimon's not used to being
Well, she spent the
praised
entirety of
like that.
Sumeru getting roasted by everyone, so...
Those were genuine
Yeah.
compliments, right? Thank you. You made Paimon wait for a long time, but Paimon's not mad anymore.
Weren't we outside for like maybe 10
Don't take
minutes?
everything to heart, Paimon. Friends tease each other all the time.
That is indeed true.
That means Paimon is as important to the
Oh
traveler
my
as
gosh.
Guoba is to me.
Looks like we've come to an agreement. Any objections before we proceed?
I trust the traveler's judgment.
Then Paimon it is. And now, the world's most excellent traveler's greatest companion, guide, and friend. Paimon will be refilling and lighting the incense for us. Here you go. Take the match and don't burn yourself.
Oh my gosh.
But if
Oh my
things go
god.
really wrong, here's the 2-for-1 coupon.
She couldn't resist it. She had to do it. That was surprisingly really wholesome, though. I like that.
It's getting late. I won't take up any more of your time. You're all free to go as you please.
Yep, the tea was amazing too.
You don't have to go all polite on me. Just remember to
Okay.
come when I invite you next time. Let's see. It's dark out, so I'm going to accompany Xiangling, Sing Cho, and Changyun back home. As for the rest of the guests, I'll leave them to our consultant. No need. I'm headed towards the harbor to meet a friend on the ship.
Oh, he's
There's
probably
no
going
need
to
trouble
see
one such
Kazuha
as
then.
Mr. Zhongli.
Kind of makes sense though if
I
he's
think you know
gonna
the place
show
I'm
up, he'd
talking
go
about.
visit the Animal
Come
Vision
meet me
holders.
anytime. It was great getting to know you all. Let's meet again when the spring breeze begins to blow. Bye. Oh, we should write poetry together sometime.
Yeah, not only are the boss of the Geo Archon, just casually invite the Animal Archon to a poetry writing.
We'll catch you all later then.
Hutawa is one of like
Don't
the
forget
actual.
to return to the parlor later. There's something I need you to do.
Oh, okay. But she is one of like the
Understood.
human characters that I've
See
always
you
felt
later.
like knows a little bit more than she lets on.
Well then,
Rex Lapis.
just Zhongli will do. I live as a
I
mortal
thought they're still just
in
standing in the middle of the
Leo's
street now.
harbor
He's like, I'm just gonna call him Rex
I am
Lapis
just
now.
one among many who begin work at
Nobody's just gonna walk
sunrise
by and hear it.
and retire to rest at sundown. If we were to consider status and seniority as Zhongli,
Oh,
I
okay.
should be respectfully referring to you as Adeptus Shao.
Heaven forbid.
I just every time I hear stuff like that about Zhongli and like what work he does, I never minded it, but I just think of my friend who used to play Genshin, and he just at the start of the Leo arc, he was like, "Man, I think I really want to get Zhongli. I like him. He's a cool character. He's super cool." He finishes the Leo arc, and comes up to me and goes, "I changed my mind. I think the character I want most is Diluc." because the entirety of the Leo's story was Zhongli causing all of this trouble and then not helping with Osila because he didn't want to go to work for the, like, what was it, the Rite of Dissension, once a year. I was like, yeah, he probably does other stuff throughout the year, but he basically offloaded everything onto the Qixing, and Ningguang had to get rid of the original Jade Chamber, all because he didn't want to go to work once a year. Just cracks me up every time.
You too.
What do you mean it's being referring
I meant
respectfully
what I said.
to an Adeptus?
I heard that during the Lantern Rite Music Festival, you conferred with Streetward Rambler and Cloud Retainer. I take it as you've gained
I kind
a
of
lot
like that
more
they're starting to
knowledge
refer to
about the
Madame being a
past.
streetward rambler just
The
because it
same
makes her
truth
feel
will
like
sound
more of an
different coming
Adeptus to
from
me.
different people.
I don't know if that's just me,
As
but
more bear witness to
a title
story,
like that.
feelings and interpretations expand
feels
in
different.
variety too. I once had a pleasant chat about the past and present with a Sumeru scholar named Soraya, and learned a few things about her research topic. From the evidence she found and the conclusion she made, her area of research is already very
And he is very
close to the
blunt with
truth.
people when they're wrong or
But there are
true.
multiple sides.
Still
to
remember the whole
humans
shtick with the
and
God of
gods
Salt?
alike. In the legends recorded by humans, some gods were depicted as arrogant and condescending, while others
That's
were
probably
kind
just how
and
they,
capable.
you know,
But whether to me,
sometimes acted with the
Streetward
people around
Rambler,
them.
Cloud Retainer, or younger adepti such as Shao and Ganyu, those adepti and gods that may seem extraordinary to humans, are something more akin to close companions. This was as true back then as it is right now. Just how Shao may seem unapproachable to most, but the Traveler has proved otherwise.
Yeah,
So
I
there's
think
no
it just
need to
depends.
dwell too much on certain things.
Oh, I thought he was just gonna leave.
I mean, Zhongli, what you're saying is...
It looks like you understood what I meant. Ah. The
What the-
director asked me
Why
to
did that
accompany
Adventurers
you
Guild
on
member
your
just
return,
look at us?
but I don't think you'll
Oh,
need my
jeez.
protection. I'll be taking a walk around and admiring the night scenery. After that, it'll be time for
the
me to go
director
back
asked me
and
to
meet up
escort
with
you
the
home.
director.
But I'm not going to.
Goodbye
Have
for
fun.
now.
Bye,
Oh,
Zhongli.
jeez.
Everyone's gone now.
I feel like when Zhao's involved in events, though, we usually end up being like he's the last one with us. Happened with the chasm too. We kind of hung by while everyone went back to the harbor.
No. Paimon got it mixed up. Paimon, the best and most distinguished travel guide, will always stay by your side, traveler. Good that you were aware of that. Shell, is there anything else you want to do? We could take you on a tour of Liyue Harbor.
No need.
He's probably been to the harbor quite a few
I've stayed
times.
here for much longer than I had
Paimon.
expected. The city lights are a fine sight, but it's time for me to leave. The events of today occurred so abruptly. I appreciate your kindness.
I really do, like, I know I said it a little bit earlier, but I really do like how much we've helped some of the Adeptus, like Zhao and Ganyu, and, you know, technicality, but, like, Shenhe as well, just kind of find their way in Liyue Harbor, because you have to consider this place is actually probably massive. It's like the main hub of, again, like the largest geographic nation,
Okay.
at least in terms of, like, geographical
See you
size.
next time, then.
But it really does feel to me like in-game, like Sumeru's, I think, getting one more area, people were saying. That, I think, on the map makes it feel a little bit bigger. Anyway, is there more to this quest? Because I'd be really sad if I logged in tomorrow and there was more to the quest. Let's see, festival anecdotes. I actually do really want to do a little bit more Genshin tomorrow. What I do want to do real quick, though, is let's run over to... I'm trying to remember where the funeral parlor is. I want to say it's... this way? I know it's on the corner of one of these little... Oh, here it is, yeah. I was just curious if there actually was something to see over here. Fairy lady. Huh. Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting, given that Hu Tao doesn't ignore anybody. Yeah, that does make me wonder if I'm not going to log in tomorrow and it's just going to be like, here, there's another part of the quest. But I'm curious to see if Venti actually is on Beto's ship. Let's go see that real quick. Because a lot of times for these events, the characters do kind of just hang out like NPCs in a little spot for a little bit afterwards. And then when the event ends, yeah, there he is. They kind of disappear.
This is such a cool ship. Facing the
It's cool to see, though, that after everything that happened
seagulls,
with in Inazuma, with all the swordsmithing and everything, Kazuha does still travel around with Beto. Because that's what makes him happy, you'd think.
Be the ship's resident bard.
Oh.
What are my prospects?
With your level of artistic finesse, I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
Till you drink all
But
of
I'm afraid the
the
sailors
wine.
aboard are not the most versed in the arts. They probably wouldn't understand the deeper meaning your poetry holds.
You can't say that for sure. Poetry is spur-of-the-moment creations. Anyone viewing the same sights and
Maybe.
experiencing the same atmosphere would surely understand.
I mean, we were sitting there experiencing the same
There's a port
thing
in Mondstadt too,
in
but
that dinner there, and we didn't really
I
get
rarely
it.
get the chance to board any of the ships.
I wonder
Speaking
why.
of ships, everything's perfect about this one, except... Kazuha, could you tell your captain that my height says nothing of my age? I'm way past drinking age.
Yeah.
How often does one get to enjoy a seafood feast on a ship? It'll be a
Where is
real
Beto? Is she
shame
still
if
here,
there
or is she
isn't
still out
anything
doing other stuff?
stronger to enhance the food. Pretty please.
There's not much I can do about that. It's not because
Yeah.
Captain Beto's not on the ship right
Oh,
now,
she isn't.
but because there's no room for negotiation on this matter. Even I have to sit in the no-drinking zone every time.
Really?
But I don't get drunk after just a few sips. Trust
Oh,
me,
yeah,
I
totally.
can hold my liquor really well.
That's what I tell my friends. But I can't. Huh. That makes me wonder, though, because that... I mean, I know they're joking about, like, height and everything. But I've always assumed that... like, characters like Kazuha, Hu Tao, that group, are probably somewhere between the age of, like, late teens, early 20s. And at least in the US, the drinking age is 21. But I've always imagined that Ningguang and Beto were probably at least late 20s, if not like 30s, maybe even early 40s. It's really hard to tell just based off, like, design, since it is, like, not literal anime game, but it's something like that. A lot of times that design doesn't really show, but when you consider, like, the feats and everything that they've done, I don't think that, like, Beto and Ningguang can be younger than late 20s at the earliest. But I mean, look at, like, height-wise too, like Raiden/A isn't really that much taller than either of them. Is Venti taller than, hold on, is Venti taller than Kazuha? They're like the same height. I think I've been told that for Genshin characters, though, they use, like, there's a few, like, subsets, like older male, older, like, adult female, you know, like that, and then, like, the Klee height characters. That being said, yeah, it's like Kokomi's the same height. I do wonder, though, because so much of it, we're not given, like, actual specific ages for these characters. But hold on, I want to see. I don't know if Ningguang would be in the Jade Chamber. I'm just curious to see what other characters we can find. I would assume Zhao's probably... I'm just thinking, because Hu Tao, again, I don't know if it's going to take a little bit of time, like how this epilogue didn't show up for like a day. I would assume, though, outside of maybe a minor conversation, which I might talk about maybe like if I stream tomorrow on Arc Nights, I could mention it if it pops up, but I probably won't do like a full-on another Genshin stream for a little bit until another event or another patch comes out. I don't even think I'll stream my Yelan polls. I'll definitely stream my Dea polls, probably. But you have to consider there is another 10 days on this banner, then 3 weeks on the Yelan banner, and that's when Dea... I'm pretty sure Dea is supposed to be the first banner of 3.5. It is nice, though, because I've been rolling to at least get one copy of every new 4-star. We know for a fact that we're going to get a free Yao Yao, so I don't even have to roll on her. My rule with 4 stars is, if it's on a banner that I'll actually roll on, that's always nice, but I'll try and just get one copy. But then I did that with, say, like, Dory. I didn't have to do it with Kale, but I did it with Dory, and then we got another free copy of her anyways. And it just kind of messes with pity. Because I've only ever been spooked by one 5-star, and that's actually Tartaglia, who I literally don't use outside of his talent. to increase basic attack level in a Ganyu team. I think he's actually a pretty decent character. I just haven't had the resources to build him because I'm still trying to farm artifacts to polish up. Like, I was talking about it. My Eula is the only character in my main team that doesn't have a 5-star weapon because I have Engulfing Lightning, I have Elegy, I have Everlasting Moonglow. I do think I use Deathmatch on Zhongli, but I've thought about changing him to an HP weapon, actually. I do actually use Kazuha a decent amount, but I think Iron Stink's fine. And then, a lot of times in Spiral Abyss, I'll use Yai. Or... I keep meaning to try out Nahida a little bit more. I think Nahida's a really fun character, and I've liked the idea of like the Quicken team with Yai, Raiden, Nahida, and probably Dendro, Traveler, Kale. I also have been meaning to try, there's so many things that like the Nilo team I have here, I've been meaning to work on building up her Dendro team. I think Nilo's just a weird one because you basically have to run her in a Dendro Hydro team. But I was looking at other characters I'm missing, because I still would like to get Venti, I just didn't have the wishes at the time, when his last banner came through. But I don't think I'd play Klee, I don't think I'll play Albedo, don't think I'll play Xiao or Ito. Ayato, I don't think I play. Sino, I've heard that Deia's kit's actually somewhat similar to Sino's as well. I liked Sino's kit, but it was just Sino came out for me right at the beginning of Sumeru, so I wanted to look at other characters. I did one soft pity on Wanderer, because Wanderer's the opposite of a lot of these characters. I like a lot of these characters design-wise, but gameplay-wise, I don't think I'll play them a whole lot. I hate Wanderer, and I hate Scaramouche, but I thought the kit looked pretty cool. But unfortunately, I lost that 50-50. Right now, I have right about 4 soft pities. So my plan is, if the banners are coming in the order I think it is, we're going to try and get Siwan Yelan, Caesar, Dea, and then if Eula's after the Dea banner, then if I have right about 4 soft pities, then for every 50-50 I won, maybe I'll do like 1 banner. So ideally, I win both 50-50s, then I do 2 pities on Song of Broken Pines. I've also heard, interestingly enough though, that the Skyward, I think it's called Pride Claymore, is actually better in short fights than Song of Broken Pines is for Eula, but I don't know the numbers on that. Obviously, if I had Wolf's Gravestone, that would be really nice too, because the only weapon that I don't have, like a weapon category, I don't have at least one for, is Claymore. But you are kind of limited, because, and there's some really interesting Claymores too. But I was looking at that recently. I don't think I'm anywhere near Standard Banner Soft Pity. That's not the right button. But, of the weapons that I am missing, like, it is really Skyward Pride or Wolf's Gravestone that I would like. But who knows? Definitely, I don't have Jade. I've heard Jade Spear isn't actually super, super good nowadays. But any 5-star weapon does usually outpace the other weapons. It's more just keeping in mind what you're missing out on. Because weapons with crit stats and their substats usually tend to, I think, last a little bit better as far as being future-proof. But, like, Jade Cutter gives 44% crit rate by itself. You effectively could just use... I mean, for artifacts, you can be so greedy on Jade Cutter characters just because you don't need to build any crit rate really on them. Even on, like, the lowest base crit rate characters for swords, you'll still have over 50% crit rate if you added no crit rate to them. But... who knows? I try not to roll on the weapon banner anymore. We'll see. I do want to check, though. Sorry, I got very off topic there from what I was going to do. I'm curious to see... these shoes, I have no idea where, like, Shenhe would be, where Yelan would be. I'm sure they're around somewhere. Either way, let's go ahead and do the rest of these event things, though. And we'll get a Yao Yao at the end of all of this as well. So, this challenge... oh, this is one of the running ones. I genuinely don't mind these little challenges. I don't think they're like the most engaging thing, but adding little mini things like this that give you the opportunity to earn a little bit of primos, give you a little bit more interaction, gives more content to this game. And I know that's one thing that, like, all the big successful streamers that really only stream Genshin stream to always talk about, that there's not a whole lot of content. And I do feel that, but that's also as someone who doesn't stream, like, say, Spiral Abyss or anything like that. So, that also affects things. But I've really liked this challenge. I thought it was really cool. You get the little dash. I don't think I've done a perfect one yet. I've done, of the 2, I think I missed a couple coins there. Oh. But I keep missing, like, maybe 1 or 2 coins. I had one where I was missing 1, I think. Thankfully, you don't need to get all of them. I was I think I mentioned this last time, but it always has to be considered that these challenges have to be doable on mobile. So they can't add too tight a time limit, and they can't add too tight a score restriction. Just because that would make it really awful for mobile players. Because I do occasionally play things. Like, I remember the first Wind Trace event, I actually had to do all of my stuff on mobile, because for some reason, at the time, I was having PC issues, and it would load me in really, really late. To the point that I would load in, I tried it I think like twice, and I just loaded in, already caught. But Wind Trace is one of my favorite events. I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, we did an entire like 4-hour stream out of us just playing it. But visually, like, this particular part of the event is very pleasing. I wouldn't say it's very difficult, but it is very pleasing. Someone's been surrounded by helixers. I'll be honest, I think part of the reason that I'm not AR60 after all the time I played is that I don't go through those little events and stuff, because I'm only about, I think, a little less than a quarter to 60. I don't know if they're ever going to raise the AR level, because there have been people who hit 60, I think, like, almost a year ago now. And while I haven't played since launch or anything like that, I played for most of this game's lifetime. But I'm not really concerned about hitting AR60, because all it really does is, instead of getting Adventure XP, you get a bunch extra Mora, which is nice. But Mora usually isn't an issue unless you're upgrading multiple characters. Oh, this one's in Mondstadt. Unless you're upgrading multiple characters, like, higher tier skill levels, it's not usually a huge issue. I actually don't know how many more. I have 4 crowns. But I have most of the abilities crowned that I want to have crowned. Like, Yelan, I don't really see the point in crowning her. Normal attack. Triple crown. I might crown Kokomi's Burst. I don't use it very often, but when you do use it, the team-wide healing is actually pretty powerful. Maybe Zhongli E. Extra 1.2% shield absorption. I mean, Zhongli's shield almost never breaks. Kazuha Burst and E I've thought about crowning. I used to really enjoy playing Jean, actually, but I don't know. If I get C6 Jean, because apparently I only ever lose 50-50s to her, maybe I'll build her and just try and implement her in my teams again. But so many of these characters, I usually stop at around 7 or 8 on characters that I think I'll use a decent amount. Like Shenhe, I really thought I'd use Shenhe a lot. I thought she'd be good with Eula. She's not really. It's not terrible, but not great. Ganyu base attack. I thought I had triple crown Yai. It's just, for most of these characters, because I'm the type of player who only likes to have, like, Hu Tao, or I make Hu Tao and Eula my main DPSs, most of the time I'm not worried about crowning normal attacks on everyone else. But yeah, some interesting upgrades I could make there, though. The fun thing to me about Genshin, though, is there's always, you know, ways to improve your characters, whether it be artifacts, weapons, or anything like that. It does get exhausting, though. Like, I haven't farmed the Pale Flame domain in, like, a few weeks now, because I just got so tired of trying to get good Eula artifacts. But ultimately, if I want to get my 36-star clear on Spiral Abyss more consistent and less close, because a lot of times there's at least one floor on floor 12 that ends up being really close for me. I do need to strengthen my Eula team or get a second team to kind of, compensate for that. Because I've noticed on the clears that I don't quite get, I don't know if I was supposed to use that then. On the clears that I have to go back and do stages, most of the time it's my Raiden Eula team that doesn't quite make it there in time. And then the Hu Tao team does fine unless it's something immune to Pyro or Hydro, in which case it's a bit of an issue. It's just tough because I feel like I can't run Ganyu in Spiral Abyss if I'm going to run Zhongli. I could, actually, but it's pretty painful. And it's part of the reason I haven't rolled on Zhao. Because I think Zhao could be fun to play. But there's only one Zhongli. It's part of the reason why I've considered building, like, I used to play Noelle a lot. I've considered building some of the other shielders. I've heard Diona's a decent shielder. But I just really don't know. Wow, this is, like, burning my eyes out of my sockets. Oh, jeez. Hey, we actually got a perfect one, too. Well, I was just rambling. Anyway. So that's this one done. Let's do... Okay, so the paper theater is one that I think I am going to embarrass myself a little bit on. When I was doing the... I think the second one's the only one, because I think we did the first one of each one on stream, and then I was going to do everything else off stream, so I did the second. And then that's when I realized there was the epilogue. This one... I'm just not good with thinking outside the box. Like, you give me, like, calculus, stuff like that, math, I do really well. If you give something that's more open-ended, I have a really hard time finding a different way. Let's see. Has the protection of the Adeptus, can ride on the wind. When he reaches a place where the wind rises, he can ride his... Okay. So that's the opposite of him falling through the tunnel. So, this is locked, this is locked. I kind of just like to do trial and error, to be completely honest. The problem is, I think he's... That didn't work the way I wanted it to. So I'm thinking I need to get him to walk this way so that he doesn't hop up here and go into the thorns. Oh, perfect. I wasn't sure if I was doing that right, but it worked. Certain gaps on the stage come equipped with extra boards. Use the mechanism on the floor to control whether a gap is open or closed. Once per each time. Where does this mechanism... We're just gonna go trial and error. I actually really like the idea of this event, though. I think it's really cool. Okay, so now we've unlocked that. Oh, crud. Let's do... Oh, wait. I didn't do that correctly. Okay, so we need to find a way to move him once he's pressed that switch so that he doesn't press it again. So I think we just, like, do that. Then try to get him onto the wind current. I feel like I did not do this optimally. But it should work out. But I actually found this event's really cool. I like the idea behind it. It's something kind of simple, but they've added enough like little gimmicks to it that it's a really interesting puzzle. What are we doing here? Let's see what this device even does. Wait, did I just kill the... I think I just killed the dude. So it opens that slot. I did just kill the dude. Oops. Alright, so I'm assuming... Hold on. Wait, that wasn't it either. So the issue is I'm assuming we need... Oh, I killed him again. So I'm assuming we need to find a way to get him to activate the switch and go up the center while walking from left to right. The issue is we need to find a way, I think, to get him to fall downwards. I don't know if we have to use this, because if he's walking left to right when he goes to this switch, he's going to hit the thorns. So, what if we do this? Oh, we can't move this one. Crud. That wasn't it either. I moved him too soon. I'm genuinely a little stumped on this one. Because, yeah, you can't just let him walk there. How do you get him? Okay, I have another idea. And then we switch him to... Nope, that's not it. That'll kill him. Wait, actually... Oh. Nope, I messed up. It's okay, as long as we keep him alive, we'll be able to figure it out. All I know is we need to get him to drop left to right onto this switch, I think. I think I was supposed to... Okay, we do this, then this. Alright, then I'm just holding this so that it pauses. We switch here. Okay, nice. He hits the switch. We need him to turn around without hitting... Okay, I think we got it. I'd be lying if I said I was 100% certain what the sequence was to do that. I just had an idea what the win con was of getting him to walk that switch there. But it worked out. To open the locked door, you must find the key. Okay, so... Can I just... Oh, wait a second. I didn't think about that. I was like, wait, it can't be that simple, can it? It's not. So, oh, actually, we could just have him walk to the end of the hallway, I think, and turn around. Wait. You can't move this room. Maybe what we need to do is something like this. That still doesn't have him turn around. Yeah, because you can't move that one. Okay, well, he's going to die here. I'm just trying to figure out, because I feel like we need to get him to walk from right to left on... Oh, okay. We need to get him onto this one. And then while he's right here walking this way, we need to put that above here. I don't need your support. Don't tell me what to do. I may be dumb, but I'm too prideful to ask for help. There we go. That stage, honestly, was a little deceptive. I thought it was going to be deceptively simple. There's a little bit more to it than I thought there was going to be. That or I'm just dumb, which I'm willing to bet that's probably it. Oh, good. There's a ton of stuff here. So ideally, I think I didn't mean to click that. We have him drop down here. That's not what I meant to do. So we need to find a way for him. I don't know if he's supposed to hit that switch. I didn't see what it activates. But we need him to drop down onto the key. And we can't move this door. So I would just go for trial and error for a little bit. Oh. Okay. My question is where we need to use this vase, I think. Because we don't want him to... And if I do something like this, it's not going to work because he won't be able to reach the key. I think we need to find a way. That was not it. Oh, he's super dead. So I think we need to find a way for him to turn around without hitting that switch. I didn't mean to start that again. Okay, that could work. No, actually, I don't think that's going to work. Do this. That wasn't it. Alright, with your help. You greatly decreased it. Sure. You know what? I'll swallow my pride. If I was doing this on my own, I probably wouldn't. But I don't want to, just be sitting here trying this over and over for a year and a half. Which is probably what will happen. That'll work. That was significantly easier. That's what I'm talking about. So I understand, like, in puzzles like this, what I need to get to happen. But a lot of times when, like, the first or second method I have to try and get it to work doesn't pan out, I'm just sitting there like a moron, just being like, I don't really know what else I can do. Oh, and this must be the person who's trying to reach at the end. Okay, how do you... So these two are locked. Okay, well then this switch has to do something. Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to walk in. Let's see what the switch does real quick. What? See, I can see how we get the key here, but I don't really know how we don't kill him. Yeah, that's not correct. Up. Maybe turn him around. Wait, if he turns around, he's just gonna die. And there is no way, it looks like, to prevent him from hitting that. And you can't have him turn around into the vines. I can have him just walk back and forth here for a second. So... I think the situation we need to make happen is for him to walk right to left through this platform. Oh, that wasn't correct. Oops. But I think that the situation we need is we have to have him hit this switch again so that he can be here and drop walking this way onto that. That being said, though, I'm just gonna... I'll be honest, I considered trying something interesting and I just was like, that's not what I meant to do. Watch me still fail this on easy. That's me and hard puzzles to begin with. So we need to do this, I think. And then once he's here, drop him onto that. The question now is, how do you get him up here? Oh, that unlocks that switch you can move past it. So now we can just, oh, I don't know, when he's walking this way, make him turn around and just, okay. That's interesting, though. There was another mechanic, I think, that unlocked an actual stage from being locked. Because I was sitting there wondering how you could possibly get him over there with the way it was. But yeah, I don't have any shame. I'll just do the last two stages on easy. I'll actually, probably because I am stubborn, try off stream to do that. But I don't feel like sitting here for 20 minutes while I keep messing up. Because that's what's going to happen. Anyway, oh, looks like our pass is going up too. Looks like we just had a new quest. I wonder what that was for. Oh. Do I need 65 elegance light? The thing is, I don't really need guide to light anymore because I have triple crowned A and my Yai is 9, 10, 10. Elegance and transience. Let's go with transience. I think the battle pass though is really, really high value. That's how they get you, but I think that's really good. Homeward Bravebeard went slowly. Oh, okay, so this is for this side quest real quick. It was a little hard towards the end. Huh. Well, Union's kind of set up to be like the best opera singer they have. I don't think comparing yourself to her is really fair. It's like comparing yourself to Nilo and her troupe. Oh, I'm sorry. Why do you have to, like, this is the Lantern Rite, you don't have to be... game. Yeah, Leo has quite a few heroes. Both human and Adeptus. Oh. Okay, I thought that was actually going to be a full-on quest. That was actually just a wholesome little conversation, though. Got more of these. Oh, it looks like we get the free Yao-Yao. Oh, you get a selection. Well, I think I have C6 on most of these characters, so there's no reason why I wouldn't get Yao-Yao, but... That's kind of cool, though. Is it allows, like, newer players, if they're really missing one of those Leo characters that they really want... Oh, what? Oh, I thought it was just gonna be like, here, you can invite more. We do get another crown here. But yeah, to me, the issue with Yao-Yao and a lot of the probably upcoming Dendro characters is I think that they'll... Let's get the free wish real quick. I think that the issue you'll run into is they're just going to be a little bit underwhelming when you compare them to Nahida or even Dendro Traveler. Because I do think that Dendro Traveler is probably the strongest form of Traveler we've had. And then Nahida is also absurdly strong. I mean, people were using Kale a fair bit, even over Tainari, I think, towards the start of Sumeru, but I just don't think it's likely that you find a better option than that. I'm gonna do this one last, just because this is the one that I think we might do some multiplayer. I think you can do like co-op, or you can do... Why does this have an exclamation point again? Yeah, I think this is the one that you can do... Why is it... Oh, that's gonna bother me. Oh, okay. But this is just the free combat one. It's over in Sumeru. But I was realizing when we were using the Hu Tao team in the Overworld, I don't usually use her just because I don't run a healer on that team. So if anyone other than Hu Tao who can heal herself a little bit with her ult takes damage... Oh, unless I'm running this one. This isn't my actual Hu Tao team, though. This is the Spiral Abyss Hu Tao team. I do think this is the strongest team I have. But I hate running the Statue of the Seven. I don't use food very much. I'm not going to be able to heal anyone else outside of Hu Tao ult. I guess we could do that. Throw a wish real quick. I have no idea what my standard banner pity is at. I know I hit it like a month or two ago. I like that they changed it from 6 in the list 2 to 5. I think that was nice. So yeah, we're at like, what, like 1920 pity. And we did get the Skyward Sword. I do really want a 5-star Claymore, though. Part of the issue is I just never spend my primos on anything except a limited banner. And so I haven't rolled on a weapon banner in a long time. Eula's really might be the first and last one I do in like a year, and I won't do it again. I don't think that weapon banner is the full-on scam that some people make it out to be, but I do not think it is a very forgiving banner by any means. Do you get... Actually, if we get mats here, I probably shouldn't be using Hu Tao teams. You always need the new materials. But, eh. Oh, you do. In that case, that's a little bit bad for me. Because when I first got to Sumeru, because I run Raid Eula all the time, I didn't realize until, like, I was trying to build... I'm not even using Kazo here. I didn't realize that you would get the different type of fungus until afterwards, and then I was like, oh... So I have a ton of these, like the activated/inactivated ones, and not very many of the regular ones. Which is what you... Did I just get another wish? Where did that come from? Oh wait, I didn't even wish. I said we were going to do that, and then I didn't. But I don't have a whole lot of these, and you need those to upgrade all your characters. And I just... Lately, I haven't been having a great time just running around farming... Oh, wonderful. Farming mats in Genshin. Like, even just running around and collecting flowers is part of the reason why I'm dreading... And part of the reason I didn't get Sino as well. I really did not want to go collect beetles. And the materials for Day, I know I need to get on pretty soon. Just because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to ascend her very far. I mean, even when I first got Nahida, I remember, on stream, I was only able to level her like 70 or 80. Yeah, against enemies like this, I don't really need to use my full combo, but...
This isn't good.
Yeah, that's kind of the full-on Spiral Abyss experience I get. Really, really efficient team, lots of crowd control. Whereas my Raid Eula, and then I run it with like Yai, or sometimes Rosaria for the permafreeze with Kokomi E. It's a decent team, but it doesn't have that same crowd control. And it's part of the reason I like Venti. Because, I think if instead of Yai, because I don't think that team can get away with not having a healer because I don't have a shielder, I think that if I could swap out and put in a Venti, that'd make that team's clear a lot better too. Because ultimately my Raid and Eula team relies really heavily on Yai damage, or whatever sub DPs I have, in addition to Eula just destroying everything with the Shogun's damage. Oh well. Yeah, lately I've been like running around with this team in the overworld a little bit more, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably my strongest team. Hu Tao is just a really fun character. That being said, though, I've seen a lot of people debating whether they want to roll on Hu Tao or Yelan. I think I saw someone kind of put it this way, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Just keep in mind, if you roll on Hu Tao, C0 Hu Tao feels completely different, and honestly, I think a lot worse than C1 Hu Tao. And Hu Tao requires a lot of investment to be good. And you can't, I mean, you can, I suppose. She has a lot of off-field time when her E's down, but she's not really a sub-DPS. Yelan, on the other hand, can fit in a lot of teams. Like, if you're looking for a main DPS, Hu Tao. If you're looking for just a generally good character, I would say Yelan. Because I do think Yelan's just generally a great character. I'm glad they at least give you mats here. So many of these little things, like the new dailies that have you protect like monoliths or do the little challenges, don't give you mats. And it just makes me kind of sad. It's not like a super necessary thing, but I think it feels a little bad to me. But that's also someone who's played this game for like, well, like over 2 years now. So collecting materials does not have the same charm it did a while ago.
As one with wind and cloud.
But C1 Hu Tao, I do think, is one of the most fun main DPS to play. I think Zhao is fun to play. I do have a friend who has C1 Zhao. But I've been told that Zhao, and to be fair, any character does to some extent, gets very, very old very fast. Because the novelty of being able to do just like plunging attacks is pretty cool. But, But I think fun's also a subjective term. Different characters are fun for different people. I looked at Ayato's kit and I thought visually it looked really cool, but I didn't think it'd be fun to play. But I know people who like playing Ayato really like playing Ayato.
Stabilize. The wind knows.
Quietly now. Things are about to get...
Yelan, on the other hand, I really like. I wish Sayu was like a really good character because I think if you could make an like you probably could. Like you can make a good team out of anything with the correct artifacts and build. Like imagine a really good team that had Yelan and Sayu in it. Like C1 Yelan plus Sayu. You just have unlimited stamina. That's part of the reason why I use Yelan in my overworld team so much. Not because it's necessary, but because it just makes life so much easier when you're running from place to place. So let's do this. So this one I think you can do single player or multiplayer. I've only done a single player. We'll probably do at least one single player, but it's kind of like Lantern Rite, I think, where you kind of just, you know, collect a certain amount of points, and then depending on how well you do, you can just kind of go. It looks like we can get up to like 5,000 points. I don't know if we'll go that far, but we'll play at least a few rounds of this. I will admit I'm not very good at this one. Yeah, we get the collection radius and no damage. Like I've actually almost broken the ship in single player doing this with these little hearts at the bottom because I kept bursting into with the one that makes you charge. I kept, oh my gosh, I kept just running straight into the like dynamite and stuff, and it doesn't actually make you invincible to it. That was not a good time to use that, admittedly. I wonder if you, oh, I wasn't gonna test it, but I haven't actually gone in that whirlpool. I do wonder if, oh, dangerous vortex in the, oh my good lord. Wait, I thought I was temporarily invincible. Oh, I'm gonna break the ship. I actually, believe it or not, I haven't done that yet. It might happen. Yeah, me and the Wave Rider don't exactly get along. I get that it's like a big ship, but it just feels really clunky to control to me. I want to see if I can go temporarily invincible and walk into that. We only have 10 seconds left, surely it'll... Well, I didn't exactly. Okay, well I didn't test the theory. I also have no idea what a good metric is for coins collected in this thing. But we'll see. 800 scores, though, that's not so bad. Not the greatest, not the worst. Despite having a similar scoring system to, what's it called? Wind Trace, I don't actually enjoy this one as much, admittedly. It looks like you can go to cap, though. Let's do maybe a couple multiplayer rounds. See how that goes. I don't think it's going to go well. But we'll see. Because it was saying, I think... Oh, you lose all challenge coins if you do die. That's not good. Player with the most challenge coins will win. So that makes me wonder, though, do you actually get anything good for winning? Or is it just like a, hey, you won, also you get your points? We'll see. I think a mode like this could be interesting when you're actually competing with each other. It does look like... Oh, it's this one. Unleash a dust blown. The dust blow remains on the field, have their side obscured. So like a smell. Oh. I didn't get to read that. And you only have 3 life points. So it feels like maybe playing slow and seeing if anyone else dies might be the way to go. Is that? Can we kill each other? Or is that just the smoke screen? That'd be pretty funny. Well, while I was turned sideways, that maybe wasn't the way to do it. Hey, Jackie, buddy, what are you doing? Oh, dude, that dude over there, the Yelan, is just destroying us. I just ran right into it. Oops. New challenge coins. Well, I'm not doing too hot here. Oh, you know, that I don't even know why that didn't occur to me. The shadow lanterns, huh? Same colors, fireworks looking for red lanterns. When they spawn. Oh, don't run into owl. I didn't even see that one, honestly. Get these 2 red lanterns. Nice, nice. We do need to be careful, though, because we might just die. Alright, let's just... Okay, so now we're looking at yellow. At this point, we're ahead, but we only have 1 life, so I think we want to just stay safe, probably. Oh my goodness. That was a somewhat unfortunate spot for that to place itself. Yeah, that just killed the Yelan. I mean, at this point, I think if we don't die, we might be okay, but 51 seconds is a lot of time for me to make a stupid mistake. We're looking for blue. Okay. I'm just afraid one's gonna spawn. Oh, okay. Nice, nice, nice. I was afraid that a bad colored lantern was gonna spawn on me and I was just gonna get dumpstered. I don't think that there's a way to hurt the other players, I want to say, though. What's this? I didn't get to read what this one does. Oh, good. Oh, okay, it spawns that. So we need to be careful about the others running up on us, too. That would be unfortunate. I wonder if that's what that Yelan did. She tried to run up on me and put down a whirlpool, and she just fell into it herself. I know this is not the bravest way to play, but it's the way to play to get the W. Everyone else died, so I just sat on 1 life and hit. Yeah, see, the Yelan got the most coins, but I just didn't die. Oh, you can get so many more points though from the multiplayer mode. That's interesting. I don't mind this mode, but it definitely feels like I like the modes where you just get to go ham, you know, or mess around a lot, like in Wind Trace. Whereas in this mode, it kind of feels like you actually want to play safe. I think everyone realized that towards the end. I just happened to realize it at a good point. But I do think it's kind of funny that that one guy tried to sabotage. And I think what happened is he dumped that and then bumped into me, which caused him to get stuck in his own whirlpool. If I saw that correctly. We could give it another try, though. I really didn't think I was going to do well my first try, though. I don't know why I thought, though, that the little shot was going to do anything other than destroy the little, like, TNT barrels. I looked at that and I was like, I don't even know what I can... I was trying to shoot the other team members at the start. So we've got the magnet I really like, and then the dash. The dash is a good way for me to hurt myself. I will be 100% honest. That's a good way. Yeah, you can tell I don't ever get on the Wave Riders often, but the fact that I forgot left click would just destroy the barrels. If you hit it. I like that it auto targets though. If that didn't target, it'd be so obnoxious. Oh. I will say though. Oh, wait. Are those rolling waves the ones that hurt? Oh, good. We got the one that's gonna get me killed. Okay, it doesn't hurt you, it just pushes you. Ooh, Shin over there is messing us up. And I'm gonna be, oh yeah, I'm gonna be too late to get to these coins. Yeah, I was about to say, that was brave. Can I? Oh, nice. Okay, that's probably what you're supposed to use that for. And that's how you can be a little bit more daring, I think, and get these coins. Nice. When did we lose health? I don't know what I ran into. Okay, we got the vortex that we got in our single player one. Yeah, let's just steer clear of that. No, I want these. Oh, goodness. He tried to sabotage me. No! No! Oh, what a legend. He just dumpstered me. I thought I'd be able to get back out of that, but does it do damage to you or does it actually really, really hurt? I can't tell. Because I had 2 lives, so I thought as long as I didn't fall in the center, I'd be okay. That was very clearly not the case. Oh, that dude just... Oh, no. Yeah, we lost a life. I think that was from the center vortex, though. This guy's just trying to sabotage, though. And I think at this point, the only way... Oh, I killed myself. I'll say, at this point, I think the only way we could have pulled out a victory, because we were ahead of the other 2, would have been to, try and hit the... Oh, that Kazuha has 300 coins. Would have been to try and get the Kazuha, though. Yeah, we died twice this time. We got destroyed. Let's at least get these. Yeah, that was rough. And then he kind of got that, though. At the end, you just play safe. That's crazy. Single life duration? Did I destroy my Wave Rider pretty fast, though? And we still got 1,000. That's... It does seem like playing it in the co-op mode is the fastest way to get your points. Like, as the points come out each day, you could probably just play one co-op and you'd be fine. Or you could do like me and put it off till the end. But this mode is actually kind of growing on me. It's fun. It's one of those modes that I think would be even more fun, like Wind Trace, if you were in comms with like a group of 3 friends. If I had friends who still played this game. But, it's still pretty fun. Let's do, how many points are we at? Yeah, 1 more should do it. And then we'll probably go ahead and end the stream. There'll only be a little bit under a 2-hour stream today, but I really wasn't planning on doing another Genshin stream, like I was saying at the start. It just kind of caught me off guard that there was an epilogue, and I didn't want to miss out on that. At least for me personally. Part of the reason I switched to streaming on YouTube was because they autosave VODs, and I like to make sure that I can kind of keep those memories up. I think it's just kind of cool to see. Like, it's why I have... Like, I would post the VODs on Twitch when I was streaming on Twitch at the start of when I started streaming. I would do, like my entire Fire Emblem 3 Hopes VODs, and I'd post them. But posting, like, 5-6 hour long VODs takes a long time. But kind of seeing that kind of progression throughout the story is really cool. That being said, let's see how we can do this one. I'm actually pretty happy that we won our first try, because I wasn't expecting to win any. I'm usually not super great at these types of modes. Okay, so it's this one. I can never tell if you actually take it. Ah! Aw, dang it. Oh, I'm gonna die. I was trying not to run in that whirlpool, and then I collided with the, I think it was the Yalem, but everyone's already missing a life. I feel like this is a lobby where everyone's going to die at least once. Let's get that power up. This is the invincible one. The invincible one doesn't seem to work as well as the rocket for oh no. Oh, okay, I thought I exploded that on myself. Yeah, the invincible one doesn't seem to work quite as well for crossing like the whirlpools as the little burst does. I think I just... I was about to say, I think I went invincible and hit that barrel and exploded on both of us. Fireworks, red balloons. Alright, what do we got? Oh, we are on like the opposite side of where they all spawn. That's not good. Right, there's one here. Oh, there's 2 here. Let's go for it. Nice, nice. Grab power up. I'm scared of using the whirlpool because I feel like I'm going to mess myself over. It's red again. Okay. Don't know if I've ever seen it go same color twice. Come on, let me get these ones. That guy's 1 ahead of me. Oh, but that's gonna do well. Nice, nice. I do feel like the strategy on this lantern one, though, is to ideally hang near the edge at the start so that you don't accidentally run into one immediately. But then you're not in as immediate a position to go for a good one. Oh, we got blue. Got a smoke screen, okay. Oh, wow, there's a ton of them here. We do gotta get in there, I think. Oh, look at that. Don't go into the whirlpool. That'd be an instant way to throw the lead. We're in a position where I think as long as we don't die, we're... Well, the Jean's really close, but the Jean's also one hit away from dying. Ooh, but she just closed the distance quite a lot. We're only a little bit ahead of her. And I want to say there's probably one more cycle. Well, no risk, no reward, I suppose. Oh! Okay, that was probably... Yeah, the Jean died. That was probably not a necessary risk. Hey, I'll take it. $11.50, still not as much as our first one. Not sure what the all of these we had were what. But 1,000, 11.50, and 1,200. Yeah, it does feel like that's kind of the way to go. I wish there was a way, like I know some people would maybe just only do it, and that's maybe why they don't want to do it. But if they gave you like, I don't know, like one purple EXP book if you kept playing. I don't think that Genshin has an issue. Like, we saw this with Windtrace. I mean, we played so many games. It's not like we ever had a hard time with having a queue more than, like, a few seconds. But if they gave you, like, one purple XP book or, like, a tiny bit more every time you played, I think it would really increase the replayability of modes like that. Because, I'll be honest, I might play a little bit of that Wave Rider mode over the next few days before this event ends in a week. But... like I said, it's not like my favorite thing. I don't know if I'd play anymore. That's a really pretty picture of Beidou. I actually really like Beidou. I'm just not a big fan of counter-style characters. It's why I don't, like... Well, part of the reason I don't play Yunjin is I don't have any of, like, the Geo main DPS in Albedo or Ito. But... yeah, some characters I just don't really particularly like the story. Yeah, I wanted to check a few of these voice lines, though. Just talk about... So this is the one I was talking about.
But his personality's a bit dusty.
Like, she even outright stated it. I don't know if she has in-game before.
Over anything.
Like, kind of poking at Zhao if he's an Adeptus. But there's just the thing, too, is I don't know how much, like, how involved Zhongli was in Liyue Harbor beforehand. But there comes a point where you're like, yeah, this person's been alive for, like, 4 generations of my family. What are they? Like, same thing with Madame Ping. And I still have to wonder, like, again, is it just complete choice that Madame Ping appears in the form she is? Because we haven't seen any of the other Adeptus look physically aged. We know Ganyu's been alive since the, like, you know, the Archon War. I think the same with Zhao and most of the Yaksha. None of them look as aged as Ping does. It's possible that maybe she's like a half Adeptus, with Ganyu still aged, just very, very slowly. Comparatively. I know, obviously, we haven't seen her, but could it be something like that? I really don't know. It could just be a, you know... just a design choice by Hoyoverse as well. Just interesting things that I just lie awake at night and think about because I'm bored. But I wanted to see if about the... Does he have a... Yeah, here we go. I wanted to see the... Boor. Who's Boor?
As well as ruling over all.
Oh, it's... I'm an idiot. That's
the
Nihida.
god of time tempers all volition.
She would give up everyone for her beliefs. So I think he had... this
perhaps it is for this
voice line right before we even went to Inazuma. But
should the chance come by me, I too would like to learn of the eternity for which she so earnestly endeavors.
This is one of my favorite ones.
Of the funeral parlor?
This makes me laugh.
I cannot deal with that child. It reeks of wine.
It'll only take me 6 hours to make a hangover sobering tea, by which point you'll probably be fine. It's funny too, because I think people were saying similar to what happened with like Venti, because real versus apparent age in Genshin is definitely a little confusing. Venti isn't always able to drink at some places. I mean, so is like the Traveler, and the Traveler's older than I think the Archons too, lore-wise. Just funny stuff, because there's no real, like, it's not like you're running around carrying like a driver's license or something. I mean, we have a Wind Glider's license, but I don't think we've had any reason to suspect you need one of those outside of Mondstadt. I don't think anyone's mentioned it. But I was also curious... Like, I don't have Venti, so I can't look at his discussions on the Archons, but let's look at these.
I
Sandur.
admire her humility.
Her humility.
It is a sign of true wisdom. With the power she holds, Boor is capable of doing many things beyond our wildest imaginations. And yet, she uses her power only to right wrongs and to protect. She is a truly gentle god.
And it's cool to see someone like A say that, when you consider that, I mean, in terms of actual feats, you would assume, I've always assumed, at least personally, that Prime Zhongli was probably the strongest Archon we've seen. But in terms of like actual physical feats we've seen, splitting the island in Inazuma is probably the biggest feat that we've seen any Archon do. At least from what we, in our own eyes. I would still assume that Prime Zhongli is probably stronger. But for her to say something like that, it's kind of cool. But it's also intimidating because even if Nahida's strengths aren't actually, they're things like erasing oneself from everyone's memory, like the previous Dendro Archon did, the Great Lord Ruka Devata, you still have to consider, like, pure combative strength isn't always a thing, but Nahida wasn't really, she didn't have a chance against Dottore. She used, like, negotiation and everything, but it goes back to she's the god of wisdom, and her powers don't seem to be super combative focused. Just interesting because it could tell you what you could really see from different Archons, because at the very least, we know we're eventually going to see the war god. The Pyro Archon is the god of war. Super cool stuff. It's why I'm interested too, especially after how, if she's based on Himeko, how Himeko went out in Honkai Impact 3rd. That scene's one of the, like, most powerful scenes I think I've seen Hoyoverse / MiHoYo create. Was that one. It was super, super powerful. I'd suggest even if you don't play Honkai Impact, go and watch the final lesson cinematic. Super, super moving.
So the animal Archon still goes by that name among mortals these days.
I think I've seen some of these things,
Truth
but
be told,
a while ago.
From the very first moment I met him, I could somehow sense that we were not going to get along. Also, he sure can drink a lot.
It's funny, though, to me, because I think I've mentioned this before, but, like, with Myers-Briggs and everything and just personal thoughts, I think that as far as characters go in Genshin, not for flattering reasons, A is actually probably the one that I am closest to in personality. The way she handles things, like, it's part of the reason I don't want to be I would never want to be in a position of, like, power. That's not my thing. I'm also kind of my parents were telling me today, actually, they're like, yeah, because we were just talking about work and everything, just because I've been super tired I'm trying to save money to get back into college again, because I decided to take a year off. I'm still not sure. I'm kind of the type of indecisive person that I really struggle before I do something, and then when I'm doing it, I'm fine. So I got straight A's on all of my prereqs to get into a radiology technician program over the past couple semesters, well, last spring, and then the fall before that. But then I kind of have been hesitating, so whether I go into that or something else. Anyway, I'm going off a tangent, but basically, like, they're saying, like, yeah, we realize that you would love to just, like, be a hermit in the mountains or something one day and just play video games, but you can't always do that. But it reminds me very much of, like, A locks herself in the plane of euthymia. Again, not for flattering reasons, but it's just funny. And yet, despite all that, I think Venti would be a lot more, I don't know, amiable is the word, I think, to get along with.
I had an opportunity to feast with him once.
Yeah.
Back when I was just
And it's just funny, too, because it feels like she pays... It does feel like respects... She does respect Zhongli and Nahida a fair amount, and she just doesn't like Venti. And then, what about this Archon? Did I miss it? Surely she has... Oh. Maybe they'll add lines for the other Archons eventually. I'm actually kind of surprised. But I will say the voice lines that hyped me up the most out of anything, despite the fact that I didn't want to get this character, is the only one that's ever spooked me, and I don't like Tartaglia as a character. It makes me mad. I gotta say, these lines about the Harbingers are super, super hype. I'm so excited to see them. Like, it's difficult because we don't know their personality enough for me to say things like that, but personality-wise, I haven't been too big a fan of any of the Harbingers we've met. But seeing things like their backstory, like, I really did soften up a bit towards Tartaglia once we played his story quest and found out how he treats his family. But, like, design-wise, I really like Capitano, and I really like Arlecchino. They're my favorite designs out of the Harbingers from what we saw. But, to be fair, based on, like, the little bit we know, again, Capitano got along with Varka's expedition team, and Arlecchino's kind of abrasive. at Signor's funeral in A Winter Night's Lazo. But anyways, guys, I had fun talking for a little bit there. It's part of the reason I enjoy streaming, is you just kind of get to talk and do your own thing. I watch the VOD. I'm going to try and stream some Orc Knights IS2 tomorrow.